Our old pal Alfred Hitchcock was known as the master of suspense. His greatest hits were films like Psycho, Rear Window, and Vertigo. He worked for over 60 years in the film industry. In that time, his films earned 46 Academy Award nominations, including 6 wins, but he never won the award for Best Director, despite 5 nominations. Each film he made utilized many tools to tell his iconic stories. Today, I'd like to introduce to you what I call the Hitchcock Formulas. These formulas are based on various approaches that Hitchcock used to create a compelling scene. Let me just preface by saying he did not invent these storytelling methods, but he sure as hell mastered them. The first variable in the equation is the viewer, whether the viewer is aware of information or unaware of information. And when I say information, it usually tends to be danger. The second variable in the formula is the character, whether the character is aware of information or unaware. Just in case I've made this a little too complicated to follow, here's a graph to help you out. The first formula we're going to look at is my least favorite: shock.
4 people are sitting around a table talking about baseball, whatever you like. 5 minutes of it, very dull. Suddenly, a bomb goes off, blows the people to smithereens. What do the audience have? 10 seconds of shock.
Luckily, Hitchcock used this technique very rarely. Here's a scene from The Birds to illustrate what he's talking about. Pretty scary stuff, right? Let's check out the formula on this one. We have an unaware viewer and an unaware character. You put those together and you get shock. Our next formula we're going to look at is mystery.
There's a great confusion between the words mystery and suspense. And the two things are absolutely miles apart.
When you hear mystery, you probably think of the great detectives of our time. Or perhaps you think of a certain object that you'd like to know the contents of.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
The closest Hitchcock ever got to making a mystery was 1954's Rear Window. The plot revolves around our main character, who thinks he heard his neighbor kill his own wife. But for most of the movie, he's unsure if Mr. Thorwell really did it, or if it's just a misunderstanding. Alright, let's check the equation on this one. We have an unaware viewer, and we have an aware character, Mr. Thorwald, the only one who knows what actually happened. So, we have a mystery.
You see, mystery is an intellectual process, like in a whodunit. But suspense is essentially an emotional process.
Do you remember earlier when he was talking about shock and how the feeling only lasts about 10 seconds? Well, here's what else he had to say.
Now take the same scene and tell the audience there is a bomb under that table and will go off in 5 minutes. Well, the whole emotion of the audience is totally different, because you've given them that information. Now the conversation about baseball becomes very vital, because they're saying to you, don't be ridiculous, stop talking about baseball, there's a bomb under there. You've got the audience working.
Let's take a look at one more scene. This one's from Psycho, in which Marion is in her most vulnerable state, getting ready for a shower. Yeah, so let's break that down. So we have an aware audience, and we have an unaware character. So, you get suspense. And I'm sure those of you that are still awake are asking, but Tommy, what if the audience and the character are both aware? And to that I'll honestly say, I don't know, it's probably like action or something.